It's good to catch up with you again, my brother.
Hey, well, man, good to be here. It's always, man, we're here. That's everything.
Yeah, true. Very true. Very true.
Yeah, man.
And last time we caught up, you gave me a life story that I really wasn't ready for, if I'm all honest with you.
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah. Well, I guess you was doing a big PR run, but in terms of the last body of work you put out and the story it was
Oh,
telling,
okay. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
that changed the whole, makeup of our family. And it's ongoing. Like, even this new record is just finding out more stories about our family. We have a
mm.
very interesting family in them. I I think on this album I said, "Thank you, Dad, for the trauma." You gave me a lot of material.
Well, the album's called "Son of a Broken Man," right? So
Yes, called Son of a Broken Man.
yeah, so I gathered it was continuing on in the same vein as the last project in terms of that whole self-discovery and
Yeah,
and being
in
able to
terms,
tell and being able to tell that story as well. I guess that's part of it that I guess people downplay, right? So talk to me.
yeah.
How did you begin to start formulating this project, bearing in mind you poured so much into the last one?
Well, I think I wanted to write about someone that I knew, and I like the idea of father and son goes back to beginning of time, go back to the Bible, go to Star Wars, go wherever you go. It's a story of the struggle between a father and his son, and I wanted to tell that story the best way that I can. That's a tough story to tell because there's a lot of vulnerability there, and you want to tell the story of your dad where he could be a hero and a villain at the same time. And I thought I wanted to do it to break that chain, where we're just passing on a lot of the negative, abusive stuff that we learned from our parents, our dads. And I have a son. I'm like, every day that's my massive goal. It's like man, let me check myself because I don't want to pass this negative behavior or attitude. I don't want to pass it on to my son.
Yeah, no one wants to pass on the trauma, but do you not feel like there's good, bad, and indifferent in all of us, and I guess it's all part of what you pass on.
Yeah, it is exactly. I 63 and my mother was 30, and there's 14 of us. Well, now 15. We found another one of his sons, and that already right there, you're you're coming into the game. It's a little bit stacked against you. Now, I used to go out with my dad, and people thought, "Oh, I saw you with your grandfather yesterday." I'm like, no, no, that wasn't my grandfather. That was my dad. He was a bit, when you have a wife 33 years younger than you, there ain't a whole lot of arguments, man. My dad, what he said, that was the law. So I was surprised once going over to one of my friend's house and I saw the parents disagree, and I was like, whoa, oh man, what's got this is I didn't know that, a woman could talk back. I didn't know that a woman had a voice. There you go. Like the show. So it was I had to come to terms with all that without burying my dad like under the bus, like throwing him under the bus. Try to be very honest.
Mm. Talking about having a story to tell. What's the story with that hat you got on? Fantastic, because it is
Oh,
fantastic.
this hat is from traveling, man. I wherever I go, I pick up things. Everything I wear is upcycling, reuse, take the bullshit, turn it into good shit. That's my philosophy. That's a theme of my life. So I like to find things that people are discarding and turn them into something amazing. So done work on the hat, and put some work into it. It repaired it and turned it into something very iconic and beautiful.
I
Got it
see.
in from Canada to Kentucky.
You're all about recycling, upcycling,
Yeah,
sustainability.
upcycling. Oh, totally. I think it's the future.
Well, it's the
That's how
now.
we're gonna.
It's the now. If
It's
we're
the
being
now.
honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's what I've been doing it my whole life, having 14 siblings. I never had nothing new.
I can
You know
imagine.
what I mean? It was nothing new, bro.
I can imagine.
Underwear, socks. Hey, you better stitch that hole up. So, yeah, it's a huge part of my. Even as an artist, I feel like I'm an upcycle artist. Man, I lost my playing hand.
Mm. How
In a
is it? How is it?
coma.
How is it? Is it any better? Is it likely to get any better than it is, or?
No, it doesn't move. It just I call it the claw. So the claw, yeah, So I think that I'm an upcycled human being.
Mm.
I mean, I was once signed and huge record deal, and then record industry didn't think I was valuable, so they discarded me. So I upcycled myself even as an artist.
I'm going to talk
It's a
about
big
I'm going to talk about operating outside of whatever you was just outlining there, and continuing your
that
career irrespective. Get into that into a second, but the music that's on this latest album, "Son of a Broken Man." How would you
yes.
describe it? How would you describe the music? Where does it place itself?
Well, when it comes to the music, I just try to stay out of the way. I remember learning that from Quincy Jones. I met him about 6 years ago, and that he's like, that's the most important thing is that you stay out of the way and let it happen. And it is kind of very free, and there's a lot of liberty making albums at my age and having the limited success that I've had is that I can make whatever I want. So whenever I'm in the studio, I don't know if I'm trying to push it really into one way sonically. This album probably should have been ballads, because I think of Son of a Broken Man. I think of I Hope Somebody's Loving You, which is coming out today. And I think that was a lot of what the record was about. And musically, I think it's always important to have that bass talking. I always start with the bass. So wherever I'm going to put on top of it, the bass got to be talking about something. His bass got to have the elements of funk in them, and then everything else comes on top of that. So when I
Do you,
think about the music, it's like rock, funk, blues, soul, you know, hand claps, foot stomps, Hammond B3s, alligator shoes, alligator shoes. You may get stabbed at that club. Be careful. I don't, you know, I'm always trying to keep the rawness of the music, the sense of that something's going to happen. So I hope that's always there. Spontaneity, fire. I like those words, but rawness is important to me.
what are you trying to tell on California Loner?
Oh, that's easy. Ooh, that's an easy one. That was, when I was 11, my dad just started ignoring me. Like I would be like, Dad, he just keep reading the paper, drink his coffee. I remember the first time it happened to me, I walked away. I didn't know what this feeling was. And I was like, oh shit. Later on, I'm like, oh, that was humiliation. I didn't know what that felt like. And especially when your father does that to you. And then my father, he just, I would see him on the street, he just wouldn't talk to me. And it was a letter to my dad, like, hey, Dad, I know I wasn't what you wanted as a son, but this is what I'm doing now. This is who I am now. I'm not so bad, as I say on the record.
Hmm.
So that's what it was, a letter to my dad. I never got to talk to him. I was in foster care. So I just heard, oh, your father died. I was about 14. They came to the foster home. They sent like a message. That's what that was.
Hmm.
And he moved us to California, so I felt like an alien out here, and I wanted to talk to him. And that was my chance. That song, California Lonely.
And I got through it, I thought to myself, he didn't have to expose this. So is it just for him? Is it for us? Who's it for?
I think as an elder statesman, which I am now, in the village, in the community of artists and of just people, of human beings, I think one of the things I want to do with my life, especially having children, is to not pass on terrible behavior and to tell the truth and be a little bit vulnerable to hope that that helps my kids in a way and your kids and everybody else's kids. That I came from this really troubling background, and I was, no matter what, I was able to do something pretty positive with my life. And it could have been this one left turn here, one right turn here. I could have been on the other side of this. I was living on the streets when I was 12, making a lot of bad choices. And I think when I made this record, a lot of that was in my head, like to communicate that to people. No matter where you started, it means nothing. It's where you end up. And I wanted to tell the story between my father and I, probably be as vulnerable as I could, which is very difficult for me. I can talk about a big topic, and I could talk about the last days of Oakland and white Jesus black problem. Here's this thing, we got to fight against it. But this was me and my dad and that relationship. So I think in making the album, it's a lesson, I think. It's my testimony to go, hey, we can do everything. Everything can be accomplished. And the things that messed you up in life, that's your teacher. All this stuff was just my teacher. My dad was my teacher. The bad things that happened, they're my teachers. Everything is my teacher. So I wanted to pass that on to people, that everything can be accomplished, no matter what your background is.
This Little Light of Mine, right?
Oh, yeah. That's a, yeah. I don't do covers that much, but I wanted to do a version of that no one had ever done. I want to do a funky ass version of it. That was fun to do. I think it was about time to do a song that everyone knew. I hadn't done that since In the Pines on my first album. And if I feel it, I do it. It's a song you learned in church with grandma. And I thought, man, let me stank this up a little bit and make it fun and make it really the message, in Son of a Broken Man is that, hey, this is who I am. I'm not going to be ashamed of who I am, and you shouldn't be ashamed of who you are, man. Shine your light around the world, man. Bring something positive to the table that can help us all. And at this point in life, I'm like, yes, I need some of that. And as polarized as we are as a society, and the people on the left and the people on the right, and the rise of fascism and all this stuff, I'm like, as an artist, if I can do anything, that's what that song meant to me, to redo it, to bring some, I've done that live in a concert, and it's so uplifting to people.
Son of a Broken Man. Fantastic. I wondered when I saw the title as well. Are you a broken man?
Absolutely. 100%. And as I said in the song, but I picked up the pieces and I survived. So it's yeah, and I'm in the process of always picking up those pieces and moving it on in a positive light. And I think a lot of times when we have these issues, is when we acknowledge them, it's liberating. I just think if I hate to throw his name out there, he's in the news now. If someone could have helped someone like Puff Daddy, like, hey man, I got this problems and I need help. I got a problem and I need help. Here I am, man. I'm having problems over here. I think that's a lot about being vulnerable and being an artist. At 56, it's much easier to say, like, man, I got issues. In any given room, I may be the most fucked up person in the room because of the challenges I had in my life that can make me make bad decisions. Help me out. help me not make them.
Do you think he would have been better off if he would have been able to say that at an earlier age?
I think all of us are better off if we
Mm,
can.
mm,
Probably the thing with people like that is they were very successful when they're younger, and that can be bad
mm,
because you get into patterns and habits. I mean, Michael Jackson died alone on the floor.
mm.
He didn't have no homie or friend to hit him up and go, "Yo, man, stop taking all that stuff, bro. Yo, meet me at the coffee shop. Let's sit down." I think we all need that as human beings, that vulnerability to tap you. And let me tap you, bro. That ain't how it goes, bro. Uh-uh. Stop doing that. Stop doing that, and let's do this. So I'm trying my best to, as an elder statesman here, to say that that's all right. That don't make you a punk or less of a man. To be like, yo, I got issues. I got a problem over here. I'm struggling. Let me hold your hand, brother. Let's get through this. I think there's something beautiful about that. That's who I want to be. I don't know if I'm gonna be that person, but that's who I want to be.
Yeah, no, I hear the end goal. It's interesting because the last time we spoke, like I said, you introduced me to areas and facets of your life I didn't know about, I wasn't aware of, and I came off of that interview saying you'd lived a life, and here you are adding chapters which are balancing out maybe those earlier experiences, right? And I just see life as that, just one big attempt to be balanced. When you look
I
at
think
the skewed nature of let's just take the guy we're talking about at the moment because he's in the news.
he's in the news.
Did his trajectory? Is it almost inevitable that now we're just all we're going to be exposed to is the downside, and actually there aren't going to be too many people rushing to save him because they're caught up in their own ascent or just want to distance themselves?
That's a tough question because I don't know what people are going to do.
Mm.
I have a hard enough time controlling this dude right here. So I don't know what people are going to do. I know what I can take away from a situation like that, or my talk to my kids if they ask me. Like I said earlier,
Mm.
everyone and everything is our teacher. I mean, he's just our teacher, just like you're my teacher and I'm your teacher. I think when we acknowledge that, we move forward and
Mm.
we can advance. So I just hope that whatever experiences anybody's going through, that we look at it as like, hey, these are our teachers, and let's do better, because everybody, has the potential with that. Once you acquire that much power to make horrible choices, I've never had that much power, so I have no idea, but I just hope for just that everything is a lesson to people. I really always hope that. I really do, because that means we hopefully not repeating the same things.
Son of a broken man, I asked you if you were broken, not because I thought you'd answer it any other way than you did, to be fair, but because obviously you got a son, right? And at some stage, he's going to see this interview and he's going to realize he's the son of the broken man, right? And so I guess it'd be good for me to have done my bit to help him understand some of the ways in which daddy's broken. I'm not suggesting you're not doing that yourself, but he's going to read a lot about you. And I guess,
Yeah.
Just ensuring, just in keeping with what you're saying, just ensuring that, because all we can do is affect us and those close to us as much as we can. Just ensuring he doesn't go down the same road as you and make the same mistakes. I guess that's the first port of call, really.
Yeah, I think that if my dad was able to say, I'm a broken man, that would have saved our family. You know what I mean? I think it takes really saying the things out loud, and that's how we get better. I think with all my projects, and I think I always make these kind of conceptual albums. I think the end game is always This Little Light of Mine, which is at the end of the record. And in the lyrics, even in I'm a Son of a Broken Man, the key lyrics on that second verse, I picked up the pieces. I picked up the pieces and I survived. Only the dreamers, only the dreamers survive. I think it's that balance. Like, okay, I'm fucked up, but here's the medicine. I'm fucked up, buddy. Here's the medicine. Here's the answer to it. And I there's a liberty and a freedom to that. And I think if my kids or any kid hears it, that there's an answer. Yes, I am. But here's the work that I'm doing. But first, you got to acknowledge that there's cancer there. Then you start fixing the cancer. If you don't acknowledge it, then we ain't never going to know.
Listen, fantastic. It's been great talking to you. Appreciate your time as always. Are you on the ranch?
I'm on the ranch.
You're on the ranch, yeah. All right, cool. Appreciate it. Listen, you have a blessed day. Yeah, my brother?
Okay, I'll see you in the UK, brother.
100. Take it easy.
Peace.